extensive consultations with our people, extensive town hall meetings to deal with the issue that, yes, we do not want open grazing. It is outmoded, it's outdated. However, what are the options? If we are asking that we should now have ranches and these cattle should now be constrained to specific areas, then who provides the land? People say that as far as they're concerned, ranching is a private business, and therefore, just like every other agricultural venture, those involved should provide their land. As you already know, it is expensive, it is not cheap to run and manage ranches. So what I came to discuss with the president was that since the people of Edo would rather invest privately, those who are interested want to make it a private concern, then the National Livestock Transformation Program, which is now being implemented by the federal government, should acknowledge our model and should also be able to help Edo people benefit from the funding that is now being made available for people who want to go into the livestock business and make investments in ranches and other similar livestock programs.
Governor Obaseki formally appreciated President Buhari for supporting his administration's efforts at returning Edo artifacts across the world.
These works, these artifacts, are coming from other sovereign countries, and the laws of Nigeria stipulate that the federal government has the exclusive rights to deal with artifacts and monuments, and to pledge to the president that the Edo state government and Edo people will continue to support the federal government's efforts and will do all that is within our powers to make sure that these works are brought back to Nigeria, and also for them to be domiciled where they were taken from, which is Benin City.
State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the governor used the opportunity to make a case for the refund of monies being owed Edo State government by some federal government agencies. Midterm into the Buhari administration, ministerial scorecard is setting more priorities for developmental approach to sectoral benchmarks in the face of unfavorable global financial climate. Experts on NTA flagship program Tuesday Live say the midterm performance of government policies and programs are reassuring and on track. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports.
This review is actually the final step where that scorecard is presented to the cabinet, to the president and his cabinet. These are the projects that are on track to meet your target and promise to citizens.
The real value of governance is said not to be felt on robust blueprints, but prudent management of resources to meet yearnings and aspirations of the country.
We sell oil at $80. Probably only $20. The minister is there, he can confirm. Probably only $20 come to the government, the revenue. So these are some gaps that people need to know. The government needs to borrow and ensure that, look, we fulfill our promises.
These experts say the present administration has achieved much through liberalization of the economy and development of key sectors.
Certain indicators or targets are even refined based on the current reality. So it is essential that having done about 2 years of a 4-year term, that we need to take stock and know whether we're in the right direction or not.
Stakeholders appreciate the giant strides in agriculture, aviation, road and rail infrastructure, human capital development, and GDP growth rate.
There's no amount of budget the government will provide and will satisfy the infrastructural gaps we have in Nigeria in one budget year or even in 2023.
As conversation continues, experts say the economy is on course not only on the path of stabilization but on the run to catch up with others currently setting the pace. In Abuja, I am Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
As As a follow-up to its efforts in sustaining the current smooth supply and distribution of petroleum products nationwide within the festive period and beyond, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) has engaged critical stakeholders to find lasting solutions to the road network challenges and other lingering issues. It will be recalled that following NNPC intervention over the weekend, the Petroleum Tanker Drivers PTD branch of the Nigeria Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers (NUPEN) called off a planned strike action, agreeing instead to accept the dialogue option proposed by the corporation, a development that has sustained smooth supply and distribution of petroleum products nationwide. A statement by Garbadin Mohammed, Group General Manager, Group Public Affairs Division, NNPC, says the Chief Executive Officer of NNPC, Mele Kyari, took a decisive step towards actualization of his promise and hosted a major stakeholders meeting at the NNPC Towers. In line with the President's Executive Order 7, upon the fruitful deliberations, the NNPC has pledged to support the PTD and NATO in carrying out quick intervention fixes on some strategic bad spots identified to enable unhindered movement of trucks for transportation of petroleum products nationwide. Stakeholders also agreed to enforce mandatory installation of safety valves in all petroleum products trucks in the country effective February 1st, 2022. Meanwhile, Minister of State Petroleum Resources Timipre Silva has been explaining the market dynamics that led to a hike in the price of cooking gas. Speaking to NTA News, the minister assures Nigerians that government is looking into ways to ease the burden.
A market-determined commodity, but we're looking at trying to ways of bringing the prices down, because appropriate pricing of gas is very important to the success of our push for gas. One of the things that is being suggested is that we take out VAT from imported gas. And that if we do that, it's going to crash the price of gas. And you know, what is mainly affecting the gas pricing today also is foreign exchange. You know, the foreign exchange, a lot of the gas is being imported, and foreign exchange, of course, you are aware, is not where it used to be. So once foreign exchange begins to move, it impacts on the gas prices. But we are looking at it, whether we're going to take out the VAT as is being suggested. But while that is being contemplated, we also have to think of the local producers as well. The local producers are saying, look, VAT was introduced to imported gas because we wanted, as a country, to protect our local producers. So today we have a dilemma. We don't know exactly how to balance it. So we are looking at it. We're going to have meetings with the gas producers and, of course, the importers of gas, and then we'll get a middle course and we'll take a decision that will be best for everybody.
Sustaining the trajectory of infrastructure development, improving revenue generation, and provision of power supply, among others, took center stage as the House of Representatives commenced debate on the 2022 budget proposal. House Leader Alhassan Ado Doguwa, in highlighting the merits of the 16.39 trillion naira proposed budget for economic growth and sustainability, stressed federal government's commitment to deliver on its promises by addressing the most critical of needs, allocations to defense, health, education, power, and other key economic drivers, he added, are targeted at consolidating on achievements. Some House members, in contributing to the debate, suggested tapping into the vast potentials in the non-oil sector and using recovered looted funds and plugging revenue leakages to reduce borrowings used to service budgets. President Buhari was appreciated by the lawmakers for his efforts in ensuring improved budget performance over the last couple of years. Senators passed the 2022 Appropriations Bill for second reading with emphasis on the expansion of railway lines across states, improved revenue generation, and adequate remittances into government coffers. The second-day debate witnessed more observations on the provisions of the budget, creation of more employment opportunities with the proposed loans, and improved legislative oversight on budgets by the National Assembly were some of the recommendations from the senators.
To our roads, in northern part of the country, especially north central, northwest, and also northeast. If you take a look at the road project there, the ratio of the road project is very, very low. So I want Senate to kindly intervene.
One of the areas that I look forward to this government putting a lot of money in is in the completion of Iron and Steel Complex.
Distinguished colleagues, I agree completely with those of us who raised the issue of revenue generation, collection, and remittances to the coffers of the federal government. The agencies that are supposed to collect and remit revenues would have to be tasked, and this 2022 appropriation bill shows that we have over 400 billion coming especially from these agencies as additional revenues. We need to do better.
Bill sponsored by Representative Samuel Onigbo received concurrence in the Senate. Senators confirmed the nomination of Amechi Nwoha as commissioner representing the Southeast in the National Assembly Service Commission. Senators adjourned plenary to 9th of November 2021 to enable standing committees carry out budget defense. Last week, President Muhammadu Buhari presented 16.39 trillion 2022 budget to the National Assembly. Tagged Budget of Economic Recovery and Sustainability, the budget aimed to, among other things, diversify the economy and invest in critical infrastructure to sustain conversations on the likely gains of the proposed budget on the lives of the citizenry. We have in the studio Jide Ojo, a regular face in our studio, a public affairs analyst. You're welcome to Nationwide.
My pleasure. Good evening.
The goal of the proposed 2022 budget is to improve livelihoods of Nigerians. How much will this consolidate on developmental gains recorded in 2021?
Well, it will definitely consolidate or improve significantly. Don't forget, budget is a continuum. So, and the very great news is this 9th National Assembly working with the presidency to return us to January to December financial year. So there is always this rollover, and given the challenges that we currently have in terms of unemployment, poverty, and infrastructural deficit, if we are able to attain full implementation of this budget, definitely it will significantly improve on infrastructure, reduce poverty, as well as unemployment.
Okay. My next question, in the face of dwindling economy, insecurity, and other challenges, just like you mentioned, which the country is facing, what other gray areas in the budget should be improved upon and adjusted?
You know, it's easier said than done. Improving the size of the budget is actually inadequate. Let's face the fact. People say this is our biggest budget so far, but I don't agree. In terms of figure, yes, but in terms of purchasing power of Naira, it is weak. If you look at the exchange rate in the previous budget, even in 2021 budget, and you look at the purchasing power of Naira, you will find out that even the Naira is weak. So what you can buy with 10 Naira in 2021 will possibly cost 15 or 20 in 20. So if you look at it in that context, you will have said, okay, maybe we are at a period that we should be looking at 20 trillion or 30 trillion budget. But if you put the figure that way, how do you intend to finance it? Because it's not the figure that matters. Even as it is, this 16.39 trillion, 6 trillion out of it is a budget deficit. So, and we are talking of borrowing to fund that budget so that we don't end up just passing a budget which cannot be cashed back to ministry, department, and agencies to be able to do the needful. So, what I think is the way forward is to improve on revenue generation and remittances. We have a situation where Nigeria Extractive Nigeria Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative, said about 2.6 trillion from OICs, that's oil producing companies, are not remitted. If we have that 2.6 trillion remitted to federal government posts, you will reduce the 6 trillion you intend to borrow.
Definitely.
Look at what is happening with other ministries, departments, and agencies, like the Nigeria Port Authority. The reason why Adiza Bala Usman was suspended was purported 165 trillion that was supposed to be remitted by the NTA, Nigeria Port Authority, which was not remitted. And you heard the National Assembly, particularly the senators, expressing concern. Yes, we want to grow our economy. We want to improve revenue generation. But situations where banks collect tax, they collect tax and VAT for you, they collect stamp duty for you, they fail to remit as a when due. So government is now forced to go and borrow money that should have ordinarily been remitted to it for distribution. So we need to look at that weak point. Two is issue of forfeited assets to anti-corruption agencies like ICPC, EFCC. We have a designer, Lizzie Madwe case jewelry. That's worth 14 billion. Wow. My sister, 14 billion. One person like you, just one person like you, they has forfeited 14 billion naira worth of jewelries.
That's one person.
And one person. And $80 million worth of accommodation or housing. Now, we are borrowing. If the final forfeiture order has been received by the court, why can't we auction those things and use the proceeds to fund the budget? In September, we have Francis Atuche, who was the former bank PhD managing director. Final forfeiture of his assets, which he lost to federal government, was 19.6 billion. This kind of assets are lying fallow. They are just, okay, you see across Sokoto and many other areas, they will say EFCC. Now, the court has ordered final forfeiture. Let us auction them. When we auction, the money can be used to fund the budget. Definitely. And that will reduce our borrowing.
Definitely. Now let me move to a final question quickly. The proposed budget for social development and poverty reduction is 800 billion. How much impact will that make in the lives of Nigerians?
A lot.
In a few words.
A lot. Because this social investment program, you recall that during the Independence Day's broadcast to the nation, the president said he has increased the number of beneficiaries of Empower from 500,000 to 1 million. He has increased the beneficiary of this artisanal support, trader money, farmer money, from 500,000 to 1 million. That is household that will now benefit. And conditional cash transfer has also been significantly improved. These are poverty reduction measures. Don't forget, this is one aspect of this administration that is a legacy project. There is no other country in Africa where we have that scale of social investment program. And we need it like tomorrow. Let me shock you. Nigeria is still currently the headquarters of country with the extreme poverty. Now, our unemployment in Nigeria is put at 33%, 33.3% by the National Bureau of Statistics. We need to reduce this unemployment, and one way we can do that is to incentivize micro, small, and medium enterprises. When we do that, more households will get employed, poverty will reduce, because then you have more disposable income to take care of your needs. And that is how economy can be gingered to growth and development.
Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure having you.
The pleasure
sharing
is
your
mine.
thoughts on our news bulletins. Thank you. We've been talking to Jide Ojo. Thank you so much. Now we still have more on Nationwide, but now we're going over to Ruth in Lagos for more on Nationwide.
Hello, Lydia. Empowering the Nigerian youth academically, professionally, and morally have been identified as ways to checkmate the spate of insecurity in the country. Speakers at a public lecture in Lagos stated this while analyzing factors responsible for youth involvement in the breakdown of law and order. Adeola Komiakiri has more.
In the cause of youths in the country through the public lecture aligns with an objective to support government in building a viable economy.
Our expectation of our country is that which is strong, viable, united, just, equitable, fair, and prosperous.
The 2020 National Bureau of Statistics indicated that youths make up to 60% of Nigeria's population, and speakers emphasized the urgency of empowering young Nigerians.
It's a role that transcends the borders of intercessory prayers to make it empirical inputs to national conversations.
We are celebrating China today as the engine of development. Celebrating Indonesia, India, everyone. Investing in MSMEs will put Nigeria where these nations are. Give them 21st century education, not theoretical education.
Governors of Lagos and Ekiti State who were represented and the royal father of the day told the youth to channel their energies into positivity for the common good of a society.
This Nigeria is a work in progress.
And we have put in place policies, programs, and initiatives geared towards enhancing the capacities of our youth.
Irrespective of age, gender, religious affiliation, socioeconomic status, and this one language is insecurity. And if all of us understand this language, we must all contribute to solve it.
In Lagos, Adeola Komiakiri, NTA News.
October 13th annually is International Day for Disaster Risk Reduction globally. The United Nations General Assembly set aside this day to promote a global culture of risk awareness and disaster reduction. Imoleayo Tokede Ogunfowora highlights ways Nigerians can reduce exposure to disasters.
Home to more than 20 million people, Lagos State, like many megacities the world over, is prone to natural and man-made hazards and disasters. Examples bound from floods, mudslide, oil spillage to road traffic crashes. They have been recognized as the most prominent and have claimed many lives in Nigeria.
Our drainages are always clogged. And even we as citizens, we should be conscious of the fact that we shouldn't drop dirt on the road.
To create more awareness, the United Nations set aside 13th of October every year to acknowledge progress being made globally to reduce disaster risks, loss of lives, livelihoods, and health. This year's theme is International Cooperation for Developing Countries to Reduce Their Disaster Risk and Disaster Losses.
The impact of disaster is enormous, especially on developing countries. The economic gross product is greatly reduced. When you now have disaster, it's pulling down than it used to be.
State and federal governments have put in place several initiatives to effectively tackle disasters head-on.
The Ministry of Environment, Ministry of Water Resources, LASEMA, Federal and State Fire Service communication channel will be left open.
We also have the prompt response to road traffic crashes. That is what we have attained over the years by reducing the response time to 15 minutes.
With climate change likely to increase extreme weather events and disasters, experts say there is need for disaster risk reduction strategies that provide guidelines for prevention and management of disasters. In Lagos, Imoleayo Tokede Ogunfowora, NTA News.
And from the Center of Excellence, we head up to the seat of the Caliphate, where Asmao will bring us more reports after this break.
When you think about hospitality and affordable luxury away from home, then you talk about Sharon Ultimate Hotels, a secured and serene environment that offers kingly services such as 24-hour room service, impeccable security with CCTV surveillance, parking lots, free Wi-Fi internet service, free complimentary breakfast, restaurants that offers continental and local dishes, well-equipped fitness center with instructors, swimming pool, 350 capacity multipurpose hall, laundry service, pastry corner, mini mart, and our suites are breathtaking. For reservation, locate us at plot 1710, Tafawa Balewa Way, Area 3, Garikia, Abuja. Sharon Ultimate Hotels, the ultimate place.
The federal government, through NPHCDA, commenced Phase 2 vaccination of all persons 18 years and above with safe and effective COVID-19 vaccines approved by WHO and certified by NAFDAC. Special arrangement has been made for staff, their dependents and retirees of ministries, departments and agencies of government, private corporate organizations and non-governmental organizations. To benefit from this special arrangement, visit www.nphcda.gov.ng/corporate vaccination/ to obtain, fill and submit the Google form. NPHCDA will contact you within 48 hours. Protect yourself, your family and your workplace against COVID-19. COVID-19 vaccines are free, safe and effective. For further inquiries, call 0700-220-1122 or send a mail to covid19.vaccination@nphcda.gov.ng. This message is from the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency.
Manchester City return from the international break with a tricky tie against Burnley at the Etihad Stadium. Will they get their desired victory? Find out this Saturday when Manchester City take on Burnley on the Premier League Live, showing on the network service of the NTA from 2:30 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Baba Ijebu and powered by Integral.
Evening and welcome to Sokoto on Nationwide. The need for strong tripartite commitment between Nigeria, Niger and Benin Republic to address the lingering issues on pastoralism dominated discussion at a Pastoralism Week in Birnin Kebbi. Usman Abdullahi Shehu reports that the event is in collaboration with partners from Niger and Benin Republic.
The week-long program involves sensitization and training of the law enforcement officials on conflict management and as well brainstorming on the challenges of pastoralism in the Sahel region from a pragmatic, legal and institutional perspectives. The Kebbi State Governor Abubakar Atiku Bagudu said the program is apt looking at the misgivings on pastoralism.
It's very, very important that journalists in the three countries understand pastoral issues so that we help in presenting these issues to the public correctly. The livestock is part of our resources, and what we need to do is to invest in them so that we can help them to modernize.
The Deputy Director, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, Dr. Adeniyi Adedoyin, highlighted some of the objectives of the program, including building the capacity of the law enforcement officers and conflict management, among others.
Is to analyze practical cases of conflicts and the modalities of their management and resolution by judicial authorities.
The Executive Secretary, Interstate Committee for Drought Control in the Sahel, Dr. Paul Oudrago, stressed that affected countries will work together to achieve the carefully desired objectives. Usman Abdullahi Shehu, NTA News.
Sokoto State Government has been urged to hasten the renovation of the shops at Sokoto Central Market destroyed by fire early this year in the interest of boosting socio-economic activities in the state. The call was made by the Sokoto State Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Isa Sadiq Achida, at the inauguration of the local government chairman of the party in the state. Sheikh Muhammad Detti reports.
The APC chairman for the 23 local governments in Sokoto State were inaugurated at a brief ceremony held at the party's secretariat.
I will discharge my duties in the best of my ability,
APC Chairman Sokoto said Issa Sadiq Ajida called on the newly inaugurated leaders of the party at local government level to work towards the unity and victory of the party at all times.
You should always carry your people along. Whatever decision you take, make sure you are guided by the interest and the larger segment of your people.
He said the APC-led federal government administration has evolved a lot of programs towards making the lives of Nigerians meaningful, urging state government to do the same. The chairman said that non-automation of the shops at the Sokoto Central Market destroyed by fire has adversely affected the progress of businesses and traders at the market. He also called for release of funds meant for local government councils by the state government in order to fast-track development at grassroots level.
It's now over 6 months since the inauguration. The local government of Sokoto State has still half of fund, even though their monthly allocation are continuously being released by the federal government.
The inauguration ceremony was attended by APC elders and stalwarts from across 23 local governments in Sokoto State. In Sokoto, Show Muhammad Datti, NTA News.
And that's it from here. It's back to Lydia in Abuja for more news. Hello, Lydia.
Many thanks indeed. National dialogue, patriotism and equity are sure ingredients identified to sustain a united Nigeria and calm agitations as the nation prepares for the 2023 general elections. These were contained in a book entitled Sense of Power. Ikechukwu Ndukwe reports.
There has been an uncertainty in the political space on some national issues, leaving leaders from the north and south to battle which zone produces the next Nigerian president. The presentation of the book, Sense of Power, is a ploy to settle these differences with notable leaders from the south and north in attendance.
This publication will enhance knowledge, shed more light on issues of public discourse, and the rich policy design and implementation process. We must join hands in finding solutions to the challenges of the moment. In doing so, I am minded not to point out approaches that will not lead us to the promised land. We have relentlessly engaged Nigeria's hydra-headed problems without affection or ill will.
The author, Dr. Amanzo B., is a veteran journalist. To him, the book has the capacity to introduce a new way of politicking that will help Nigeria attain greater heights.
There are so many lessons to learn from the book. One of them is that there are certain ways you should not play politics, but because I exposed what I call wrong politics.
The 124-page book seeks to instill more discipline and accountability in politics. In Abuja, Ikechukwu Ndukwe, NTA News.
Zamfara State House of Assembly has suspended 2 of its members for their alleged involvement in the act of banditry. The affected lawmakers are Yusuf Mohammed and Ibrahim Tudu, representing Anka and Bakura constituencies. Their suspension followed a motion moved by the member of the State Assembly representing Maru constituency, Yusuf Al-Hassan Kanoma, on the matters of urgent public importance, which was unanimously supported by other members at the plenary. Kanoma drew the attention of the House to a confidential report which purportedly indicted the suspended members. After thorough deliberations on the matter, Speaker of the House, Nasiru Muazu Magaria, adopted the suspension of the embattled members for a period of 3 months to allow for discreet investigation into the allegations leveled against them. Lawmakers did not, however, attend the plenary, and efforts to get their response on the matter was unsuccessful. The need to advance human security as a cardinal objective of governance was a major thrust of a seminar at the National Defense College, Abuja. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa has the highlights of the event.
These are participants of the course 30, National Defense College, drawn from the military, paramilitary and selected civilian agencies. The seminar that focuses on democracy, human security and the Nigerian experience is aimed at developing the capacity of participants in the areas of strategic leadership and operational management.
Human security must be taken to mean, among other things, freedom from hunger, disease, poverty, and fear. Democracy is from...
Academic scholars argue that for more than 2 decades, uninterrupted democratic leadership to thrive in strengthening national security, the nation must initiate innovative approach to tackle rising tension.
People who are elected, they go there and know that they are given responsibility for development. People want to get jobs, people want to get education, people want to get good healthcare service, and infrastructure must function.
Is to make them aware about what
the takeaway from the high-level security engagement, organizers believe, is to set a new vista for paradigm shift in the defense of democracy and security. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Still on security, a meeting of mobile police force squadron commanders has been convened by the Inspector General of Police, Usman Alkali Baba, to brainstorm on the security action plan for the forthcoming Anambra governorship election and to address other security challenges affecting the nation. Francis Form was there.
It is the maiden engagement between the Inspector General of Police and squadron commanders of Mobile Police Force.
The decision to summon this meeting was
discussions at this meeting centers around providing security for the conduct of free, fair and credible governorship poll in Anambra State and the expectations of Nigerians with regards to the conduct of security personnel during the election.
Most of your operatives will be deployed to deter subversive elements that are planning to threaten the process, while others will be deployed to secure personnel and materials of the Independent National Electoral Commission as well as other critical national infrastructure.
The IGP was emphatic in his directive to the commanders to demonstrate high level of professionalism and remain apolitical during the exercise,
while being ruthless with violent elements and ill-guided political talks that may wish to test our common will to deliver a transparent and credible electoral outcome. I am confident that, like other operations in which you have excelled, you will not let the Nigeria police and indeed the nation down in this critical national assignment.
Meanwhile, the IGP has reassured the commanders that the mobile police force under his leadership will be reorganized and equipped for the purpose of situating it within its original concept. Francis from NTA News.
The All Progressives Congress has reaffirmed its commitment and support for constitutionally permitted innovations that will improve the transparency and credibility of Nigeria's electioneering processes and internal democracy, specifically the nomination of political party candidates. The Secretary of the party's Caretaker and Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee, John James Akpanudoedehe, said this is against the backdrop of Tuesday's Senate amendments to the Electoral Act, which will ultimately be forwarded to the President for consideration. He said APC, in line with its progressive mantra, stands for credible elections and has continued to improve under Buhari's administration as valid votes now count. The statement added that at party level, the governor, Mai Malabuni-led APC Caretaker and Extraordinary Convention Planning has entrenched internal democracy in nomination processes as recorded in the success of recent congresses conducted nationwide by the party. The statement adds that APC as a party will always stand for and support free, fair, transparent and credible elections. We now join Diba Bari. Before we join Diba Bari in Port Harcourt, let's take a break.
Admission forms into NTA Television College JOS 2021-2022 2-year National Innovation Diploma Program are on sale from 9th of August to 29th of October 2021. Candidates who wish to apply for admission must have 5 O-level credits in relevant subjects including English language and mathematics. The courses available for application include film and television production, broadcast journalism, and television engineering technology. The admission forms can be obtained at NTA Television College or any NTA station nationwide at the cost of 7,500 naira only. Payment for the form is through remitter platform only in favor of NTA Television College. For more inquiries, please call 0803-079-5335 or 0806-980-9807. Management Announcer.
Manchester City return from the international break with a tricky tie against Burnley at the Etihad Stadium. Will they get their desired victory? Find out this Saturday when Manchester City take on Burnley on the Premier League Live, showing on the network service of the NTA from 2:30 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Baba Ijebu and powered by Integral.
Thanks for staying with us on Nationwide. Before we join Dibabari in Port Harcourt, let's go to Kemi in Ibadan for more Nationwide.
Good evening and welcome to Ibadan. Dispensation of justice in Oyo State receives boost as 4 new judges are sworn in to the State High Court bench and one to the Customary Court of Appeal. Ayomiku Ajibola reports that Governor Seyi Makinde, who presided over the ceremony, stressed that the process of their appointment was based on merits.
Them to contribute immensely to the judiciary, equally assure them that the state government will continue to prioritize the welfare of members of the judiciary. The process of the appointment of the 5 judges, according to Governor Seyi Makinde, was based on merit.
This administration will continue to take seriously and to work hard to ensure that the welfare of the members of the judiciary in Oyo State is taken as a top priority.
While urging them to uphold the principles of fairness and equity in the administration of justice in the state, Governor Seyi Makinde added that they should see the appointment as call to service, saying the assignment was coming with greater dedication and commitment. The new judge, who expressed gratitude to Governor Seyi Makinde for the appointment, gave an assurance that they will contribute their quotas towards efficient administration of justice in Oyo State. In Ibadan, Ayomiku Ajibola, NTA News.
A synergy between law enforcement agencies and members of the public must be solidified towards putting an end to violence against persons, with particular reference to gender-based violence. This was the take of panelists at the Public Roundtable Discourse organized by International Federation of Women Lawyers, FIDA, Oyo State, tagged Voice of Women and Children. Grace Ayolike's report is here presented.
Estimates published by the World Health Organization, WHO, indicates that globally, about 1 in every 3 women have been subjected to varying degrees of violence in their lifetime. The Domestication of the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Law 2021 in Oyo State, in bringing this injustice to book, requires synergy, which the International Federation of Women Lawyers, FIDA Oyo, has beckoned on all stakeholders to be involved.
What we have is the instrument of law, and this law is one of the very essential laws that we believe we can use, against perpetrators.
Once they now know that if you mess up with any child or even a woman, you are no longer going to go scot-free. It will also serve as a deterrent to the society.
We must ensure that people protect women and protect children in all our communities.
Representatives from the Nigerian police, judiciary, executive arm of government, and other key players in maintaining sanity within a polity, a panel to encourage collaboration, discussed the way forward.
And that's it from Ibadan. Nationwide continues in Abuja. Good evening.
Thank you, Kemi. Katsina State government is collaborating with Bionas Nigeria and the Malaysian counterpart for the implementation of Jatrofa Agropolitan Clean Energy Cluster in the state under Nigeria Great Green Wall Africa project. Awal Haliru reports an agreement has been signed for the takeoff of the Pioneer project in 11 local government areas of the state.
The project, which will be implemented through partnership, will cost about $3 million. It is a project to achieve sustainable development goals target on climate change by using Jatrofa as raw materials for the production of biodiesel, which is reducing carbon emission. The Pioneer project will be implemented in 11 local government areas of the state, covering more than 200,000 kilometers.
The nano and emulsion polarization technology is the only technology in the world today that you can mix water, 10% of Jatrofa crude oil, and 80% of petrol to have 100% clean biofuel.
Katsina State Governor described the project as a welcome development for its potentials in providing sustainable green economy that will sustain the environment.
This is a project that will be more appreciated by those who have knowledge and the benefiting communities, because it's going to be in areas, like you said, within the Great Green Wall.
The governor assured continued support for the project to be on ground before the year 2023. The chief executive of the Malaysia-based Partnering company, who joins the agreement signing ceremony via Zoom, indicated commitment to the actualization of the project. In Katsina, Awal Haliru, NTA News.
We now join Deepa Bari in Port Harcourt for more stories on Nationwide. Deepa Bari, hello.
And welcome to Port Harcourt. Two bills passed by the River State House of Assembly have been assented to by Governor Nyesom Wike. The bills are the Housing Scheme for Judicial Officers number 10 of 2021 and the River State Judicial Institute Law number 8 of 2021. Ogediyenkwe completes the report.
The law is clear about the working conditions of judicial officers that after retirement, no judicial officer can go into any form of practice. In ensuring that these officers remain focused and diligent in serving justice to the public without any iota of corruption, then there must be some form of assurance in the area of shelter. One of the new bills assented to by Governor Wike, the Judicial Officers Housing Scheme, seeks to enhance the living standard of judicial officers of River State origin even after their retirement, whether working in the state judicial institutions or other federal judicial institutions.
We believe that one of the things that we can try to encourage to stop corruption is to allow them to have their own house. The government must, from the day of appointment and retirement, they have their homes.
The River State Judicial Institute Law number 8 of 2021 seeks to establish the River State Judicial Institute. The law provides for Board of Governors to be headed by the Chief Judge of the state and essentially plan and organize courses and studies for judicial officers in the state to complement the efforts of the National Judicial Institute.
You make us to work in the interest of the state and know that even what we do, we don't need to be supervised.
The bills were passed believing it is in the best interest of the state. In Port Harcourt, Ogediyenkwe, NTA News.
9 secondary schools from 6 African countries are joining experts to tackle plastic pollution in coastal environments. In Nigeria, the study to end plastic pollution around riverine communities has already kicked off at the Ibeno Beach. Clement Barikun reports that the exercise is spearheaded by Partnership for Observation of the Global Ocean through the Collect project.
On this study are students and teachers of University of Calabar International Secondary School. They are referred to as citizens scientists, as it is expected of them to contribute to scientific research in the area of ocean pollution. At the Ibu beach, the student and expert from the University of Calabar observed and collected plastic litter for further studies and analysis.
In a situation where we have so many plastics, we advise the government for them to, create a nameless environment for the plastics to be sorted out. And if you sort out plastics, you can recycle them.
Some of the students and their teachers described the exercise as a worthwhile experience.
And I always hear about pollution of the ocean on TV, but seeing it has really taught me a lot to try and keep my environment clean.
We can help to reduce the amount of damage that can happen to aquatic animals.
We've talked about plastics and the pollutions in the ocean, and we've seen from the samples we have collected, truly in theory, that indeed it is in practicals.
Result of the study is expected to be made public to assist Nigerians and regulators take informed decisions against plastic waste in the country's coastal areas. In Uyo, Clement Barquin, NTA News.
And that does it from Port Harcourt. It's back to Lydia for the rest of the news. Good evening.
Thank you very much. The National Inland Waterways Authority, NIWA, has commenced cleaning up of waterways across the country. Oyinaya Kaluoka was at the Jabi Lake, Abuja, where the exercise was flagged off.
Jabi Lake is one of the preferred recreational centers in Abuja, with fun seekers engage in boat cruising, different sporting activities. There are also fishing activities for fun and commercial purpose. These fishermen caught virtually nothing after toiling for hours. The reason is so obvious. The lake is polluted with hundreds of plastic bottles, other waste and aquatic weeds.
It's almost 25 years here we have been fishing here. With the fishermen, we are up to at least 100. The result of throwing those dirty things on the water. So it affects the fish.
As part of its function to provide clean, healthy waterways, the National Inland Waterways Authority carries out this routine exercise.
If you allow these aquatic weeds to be on the waterways, one is it will obstruct the movement of craft, like the boat on the waterways, and even the aquatic animals cannot be comfortable on the waters. And that is the reason why we make sure we clear it to make the waterways navigable at all.
This exercise is being carried out simultaneously in waterways across the country. Oyinaya Kaluoka, NTA News.
And now sports.
The Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports Development has denied allegations that 8 officials shared some monies donated to the men and women basketball teams ahead of the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. Permanent Secretary of the Ministry Ismail Abubakar spoke to NTA Sports in Abuja on Wednesday.